Hello, everybody. Welcome. Ben Yerkeson here, founder of Nexus Voyagers Network, and I'm super excited to have this amazing session with the Women Plus and Web3. We kind of created this coalition, this partnership to just, give these amazing women in the space, in the metaverse, NFTs, blockchain, more of a voice and show what people are building and show that there's role models that people can look up to because we want more women in this space. So it's very, very exciting, and I'm happy to partner with Alison and the team to make this all happen. So I'm not going to take too much time. I just want to say really quickly, for those interested, Nexus Voyagers Network is a global community for entrepreneurs in the space. If you're building, if you're interested in learning more, if you just want a community of others that are creating and innovating, we'd love to have you. So feel free to come on in. If you're in the session, that probably means you're already in the Mighty Networks, which is awesome. We just unlocked some token gated channels. So if anyone mints the NFT, you have access to a couple different things and all the recordings of these, and can actually be speakers on upcoming events. We just, yeah, you'll like this, Alison. We just opened a Women Supporting Women channel too. So very exciting stuff. I'd love to have everyone in the community. I appreciate y'all being here. And without further ado, I want to pass over to Alison to introduce everybody and get the ball rolling with this thing. So thank you so much for being here, everyone.
No worries. Thank you, Ben. And I'm definitely going to go over and check that out because I think I do have an NFT. I think I remember buying it.
You did. I was with you on the call. You got it. You might as well use all the perks. Yes. Awesome.
Exactly. So anyway, hello and welcome, everyone. So great. But firstly, I want to kind of do that to kind of give that shout out to Ben and to Frank, who's not here, who kind of first approached us and said, can we do a kind of session where you come have a session each month? And so, because for me, it's our combined effort that changes and secures the world that we want. Ben said it nicely. We want to encourage and ensure more women are in this space. I'd like to see it as 50-50. I had a debate with somebody just yesterday around how many women, and they were like, well, there's never that many women in it. It's like, but why not? Yeah. So it's about how we do that. So this is a part of that journey. So thanks, Ben. I know you're there in the background. Thank you very much. So but then moving on, I really want to say a massive thank you to everyone who comes in and listens. This is the start of a conversation. Yeah. If you like what you hear or you want to drop a comment in the box at any time, please do that. And if you want to come up and add to the conversation, this is supposed to be for women having a conversation and others contributing. So please do that. So on that note, I do want to say a massive thank you to Tabby, Sharonda and Natasha, who commit to talking during the month to plan what we're going to talk about next time. It takes time and energy to do that. And people are volunteering their time to do that. So massive thank you. And we will hear from everyone in a minute. Great. So what are we going to spend the next hour doing? So from us, what we thought that we'd spend the next hour firstly saying hi. Then we're going to move on to my favorite topic, which is Edgewalkers. And we'll come on to what the heck is an Edgewalker and hear stories from the room about how we are Edgewalkers in our different roles that we play, whether in our personal life, our professional life, in all of those, our physical and our digital life, all of those. So we're going to touch on that. Then we're going to naturally progress into the difference between Web 2 and Web 3, which will come out of some of that conversation. And then if we have time, we're going to jump over to community. For me, the fundamental basis of Web 3, that's just obviously my view at this point. So we're going to do that. But so without further ado, I'm going to hand over the floor to my colleagues, Tammy, Sharonda and Natasha, and they will introduce themselves. And I will put up a slideshow. Sorry, everyone's looking. I will do my duty and get the slide deck up. So let me get into a slideshow. There we go. And I'm going backwards. So welcome everyone. This is me, and so over to you, Tammy.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. I'm so excited to be here and to talk about this exciting topic, Edgewalkers. My name is Tammy Maggs, and I am a projects and communications officer for Metacampus. And I also am a digital artist. My name on Twitter is TammyM_AI. I have been in Web3 now about 2 years, and it has been an exciting journey. And I'm so excited to share, all of the things that we've learned in the last couple of years. So I'm going to go ahead and hand over to Sharonda.
Thank you so much, Tammy, and thank you everyone for being here. I'm excited as well. After about 16 years of nursing, I fell down the Web3 rabbit hole about a year ago. And since then, I'm the founder of the HuddleDAO, which is an organization for nurses to empower them to learn more about Web3 and innovate. I'm also an ambassador for Web3 equity. And now I'm also an Edgewalker, and I'm excited to be here and to talk about that today. So over to you, Natasha. Thank you all so much.
Hi guys, my name is Natasha. If we can ask, yes, thank you so much. So I represent the Definity Foundation Internet Computer Protocol. Just a quick recap, maybe someone is not familiar with us. We are a layer 1 blockchain. We are today 39 by market capitalization. We have about 170 projects already built on our blockchain. And according to the recent statistics and report of Electric Capital, we are number 11 by developers activity, which is a pretty good number, and we're super proud of it. In my personal opinion, we are a perfect blockchain for Web3, and this is the topic of today's conversation. We are also a very big team, about 400 people around the world with offices in Zurich and San Francisco. We are very, let's say, we have a diversity from the language point of view. We have a lot of ladies in the company, and this is also the topic of our today conversation. I'm in crypto since 2018. Every day I learn, because every day something new coming up. It's never enough time, and sometimes I hope that I don't need to sleep, or we have more than 24 hours in a day.
Sorry, Natasha.
Yes, and based in Bali, Indonesia. Here is most of my activity for Internet Computer, and I'm a part of the marketing team. So yeah, also a big fan of building the communities and bringing more people to the blockchain, and of course, more ladies. And yes, we are all Edgewalker in this space.
Fantastic. So I was actually going to comment that we didn't say where we were all from, and we literally are. We're in Bali, we're in the States, and we're in the UK. And that in itself, I just want to say reeks Web3. Yeah, I'm going to say we're all women who have had professions, are in a profession now. But actually, I don't imagine there's many times when we were holding webinars with people across the globe in the way that we are every day now when we talk. And I think that just is exactly the example of what's so amazing about Web3. But before we do that, I just want to show Sharonda, just because I bowed in my duty to put the slide deck up when it came to Sharonda. So this is Sharonda pre and post. Post Web3. I'm sorry about that, Sharonda. You just have to shout at me, girls, if I do
No
something.
problem at all. No problem.
And so this is me. So I am, as I've said before, Alison Alexander, also known as A Metaverse A. If anyone wants to find me, I am a real passion believer in ENS domain. So I'm ametaverse.eth, and anyone can find me there in any way possible. So I use that. And I am the co-founder and COO of Metacampus. We're an education, transformation, and activation Web3 startup. And like all of us, I came to Web3 kind of 18 months ago, pivoted dramatically from being the CEO of a council in the UK, where I led services to build sustainable communities, providing education, healthcare, social care, roads, houses, everything possible. So it was a massive pivot for me, and it has been a journey every day. And I agree with Natasha. I wish we didn't have to sleep because there's not enough time in the day. So anyway, moving on. So that's us. And what's clear to me is that we all have really different backgrounds. And so we've all come to Web3 through a different route. And even how we approach Web3 every day is through a different lens, through a different interest, expertise. We've got a DAO in the room, we've got blockchain, we've got AI, NFT experts, we've got artists, we've got that whole difference, and that's so unique. But what we wanted to do is to talk about, as I said, one of my favorite topics, Edgewalkers. And what I love, and the reason I introduced that to Tammy, Sharonda, and Natasha is because Edgewalkers are, for me, about people who take risks. And risks can be small risks, medium or large risks. Yeah, they are, and we're going to hear about some of those. Yeah. So, but also not only do we take risks, once we take those risks, actually one of the consequences that we start to build bridges. And we really, and we are here talking about the bridge between Web 2 and Web 3 often, but actually we will build bridges between groups, whether that's different genders, different ethnicity, or different ages, everything. That is what we do, yeah? And building bridges around understanding. For me, I spend my day on helping people understand the Web3. And then from there, it's kind of breaking new ground. We are literally here, everything that what people in this room are doing and all those who have joined us is breaking new ground for the future. And that's really amazing. So I am going to shut up and I am going to invite Tammy, Sharonda, and Natasha to kind of make a bid to jump in and to talk about a time or themselves in one of those roles. Or it could be a whole journey of being a risk taker, a bridge builder, and breaking new ground, or picking one of those. Who wants to grab the stage?
I can jump in.
Cool. You go for it, Natasha. Thank you.
Sure. I mean, the Web3 space is pretty new, right? I mean, everyone who is here joined from Web2 space. This is first. The second, I don't think that we are yet at the even like development stage. Like we are like a newbies, like a newborn. Everything what we do, we're doing it for the first time. If you think 4 or 5 years ago, right? I don't remember that we did communities on Discord, that we did testnet, that we did like crew and all this stuff. It didn't exist. Today, we're building the communities through Twitter, through Discord, like, right? We communicate with crypto enthusiasts. This is all new from the space point of view, like Web3. This is new for like the new path on marketing, all right? Marketing for crypto projects. And this is fascinating. And because every time we do new things every day, of course, we're taking a risk. Some things are working, some are not. And yeah, we experiment. But I love this terminology, the Edgewalkers. It's really catchy.
Yeah. So Tammy, Sharonda, any dibs next to jump in?
I like to compare being an Edgewalker to the first stage of innovation in Rogers' theory, that early adopter. And I think that it says something very profound about the courage and the amount of faith that you have to jump into something so early and not even know really how it's going to form, but to be fully committed and fully invested in being there throughout that. I think that takes us an enormous amount of courage, and just there's a lot of fear associated with it, but I think that it also takes a lot of strength and intellect and just the ability to dream. So for me, all those things wrapped up into one is what it means to be an Edgewalker.
And that's amazing. Tammy, I know that you nearly jumped in, so do you want to?
Yeah. Well, when I think of Edgewalker, I take it to the literal sense, right? So that's just the way that my mind works. And I think about like, how am I literally an Edgewalker? And I spend a lot of time in Twitter spaces and talking to community. And I spend time in LinkedIn world too. And I think about the two worlds, right? So we've got all of these professionals coming in and finding out about Web3 and LinkedIn. And a lot of them have not journeyed over into maybe the social aspect, the community aspect of Twitter. However, Twitter is very Web3 as well. But a lot of them haven't really transitioned over into LinkedIn and adopted that is now changing into Web3. So I spend a lot of time in Twitter spaces talking to both, actually, to talking to a lot of professionals that are very involved in LinkedIn and starting to develop platforms, projects, businesses into the Web3 space. But I also spend a lot of time with community and Twitter spaces in the Web3 that don't know that LinkedIn has transitioned. So I speak to both and let them know that, we really need to start building bridges between the two and teach all of the professionals coming in how important community is, how important it is to build that base that you have, that foundation that you have coming in. So I think of myself as a literal Edgewalker and using Twitter space as my platform.
That's amazing. And definitely the bridge, you can see the bridge that you talked about with the two happening more and more, that the LinkedIn world is saying, oh, what is the Twitter world? And the Twitter world, I remember once I was in a space with you and someone said, what is LinkedIn? And I was like, what? What do you mean, what is LinkedIn? And so you can see that. But I mean, I love all of those examples. And I am gonna jump in. I'm gonna share a really personal one, if that's okay, guys, from for me. So as I said, like I used to work in the public sector, and I worked in the public sector for 30 odd years. And in 2019, I decided to retire because it's a hard job. We all have hard jobs. It's a hard job. And I literally entered into the virtual reality world. Somebody asked me to come join them and be a CEO with them. And then I came into Web3. And actually, what I found personally is everybody I knew in my public sector life kind of looked down on me. And it could have been that bit of, I feel they looked down on me. They did look down, like it. I kind of like 54-year-old woman who's been a CEO of councils. But what I'm saying to you is, God, it's such a journey. Sometimes it's still a journey for me, because then I started to, I made a big post on March 31st last year that I had entered into the Web3 world, yeah, and I remember it. And I said, and then I started to post every single day. And every single day I felt like I was really exposing myself in terms of taking that, like, so now I suppose I would say it as taking a risk, feeling that I really want to use the knowledge I have in this new Web3 world, but with my knowledge that I have in the public sector, and how there is so much that we could bring of this new world into it. And sometimes I spend my day really want to shout at people because I feel that they don't listen, or they're judging me, or like, oh, what's this Web3 world that you're playing in now, Alison? Or what is that? Or what are your NFTs? Or and I feel really sad about it. So I struggle with that a lot still, even like nearly 2 years on. And I'm going to say as a grown up, like I'm right bloody, but it's something that I really feel that every time I go to write something, and I now post once a week on public sector utilizing the Web3 tools, I feel like I take a risk. I feel like people might not like it, or not even they don't like it. Maybe I don't care if they don't like it. I do want people to like it. We all want people to like us. That's a natural tendency. So I feel like I'm really hanging myself out there all the time in this kind of risky bit, in the real hope because I think Web3 has broken such new ground. And I think what Natasha said, we have seen this much of it, of what's possible. And I just want them to see it. And I just want to kind of build that bridge. And sometimes I want to write rude things to them. Why didn't you wake up and listen? And then other times I actually think if I do that, I'll be rejected. I need to say it in a nice rounded way so that they accept it. Sorry, I'm rambling, but is kind of what I feel I kind of do every day. Yes. So it feels like risky taking.
Yeah, I really appreciate you sharing that, Alison, and being so transparent because, you know, healthcare is always the last industry to adopt new technology. So I do feel that too. A lot of times I don't post on LinkedIn because the majority of my network are healthcare professionals. And I'm talking about the blockchain and, you know, no one can see how they're related. So I get a lot of support from Web3 communities, but the nurses and the people that I really want to affect don't even they don't even interested. And then I feel like they're judging me like, well, if she's a nurse, why won't she just? So I really appreciate you acknowledging that feeling because it takes so much to continue to post in spite of that. So I feel that too. So you're not alone, but we have to keep going against that. And I think that's why these type conversations are so important. So again, I can't thank you all enough.
Okay, I'm going to jump in because I'm listening and I'm thinking to myself, you know, it's funny. I've been in Web3 now for 2 years and this is my second year and I am so engulfed in Web3. Like my whole life is Web3. You know, I'm an artist. You know, my whole career. And yet my entire Facebook world, all of my Facebook, they have no clue. They have no clue that I'm an artist. They have no clue that I'm in Web3. Like I've never posted about anything on my Facebook. So anyone that matters to me outside of Web3 has no clue what's going on inside my life. And I guess that's probably because of the judgment that I faced from the people that do know personally, you know, like that cryptocurrency. But you know, just speaking to you both right now, I'm going to get on and do my first post today on Facebook and I'm going to share everything because that is what it is, right? If we really want to be the women that make the change, then we need to be the women that make the change. So
yeah,
thank you. You literally have got me to the point where I'm going to do that today.
That's so amazing. And it is. I love that. Yeah, if we are the women that are wanting the change, we have to be the change all the time, don't we? And sometimes it's important to tell people that takes a lot of bloody energy. That takes a lot, yeah. So but yeah, so any other thoughts? Anyone wants to anything else about Edgewalkers? And I have to say, like, Edgewalkers is not my term, and I've never said it was my term. Like an amazing person like Judy Neal created it, the founder of the Edgewalkers community, and it's just like I just loved it. I actually heard it on not a podcast, on a webinar by Susan Furnace, and I just fell in love with it. I just thought, this is what we do every day. And this is what I'd done every day in the public service. So I jump on it and I talk about it whenever I can. So, but anything else anyone wants to jump in before we kind of jump in a bit more to difference between Web 2 and Web 3?
Sure, Alison, I will share a personal story as well. I mean, it's hard to post on social network or like, you know, to meet your Web2 friends, and then you start to chat about like crypto, NFTs, Bitcoin, and then everybody's like, no, come on, when she stops. But the biggest challenge is always the closest one, is the family. And when all this FTX story happened, my mom called me immediately. And me and my husband were both in crypto. So she called me, it was like, should I send you some money? I was like, why, mom? We're good. We're like adults. I was like, no, I heard that the exchange collapsed and so many people lost money. I was like, no, mama, don't worry. We are experienced cold wallets. She's like, what is cold wallet? I was like, don't worry, I'm going to tell you later. So to explain it really to your parents who are like from Web2 world, that you are doing something and you're also getting paid for it, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
They always gonna be worried what you're doing. Also with all these news on the bear market, it's challenging. It's challenging everywhere.
It is, isn't it? And it makes it for quite a lonely life sometimes, because I genuinely feel that what you've just said, Natasha, all the people I've known and some of my friends, I want to say, especially their bloody husbands, laugh at me. Oh, what's this world you're now doing, Alison? Like, what's this, like, crypto? Don't you know it's crashed? Or don't you know it's terrible? Or don't you know that's where all the criminals land in crypto? And it's just, sometimes you do want to, but you have to take that breath, don't you? I am going to rise above this. I am going to take this breath, because actually, I'm going to tell you a story about it. And I'm going to tell you it next time I come over for dinner, and I'm going to tell you it the time after I come over for dinner, and you're still going to kind of have fun at me. But actually, I'm going to say also that you've got kids. Their life is going to be what I'm talking about. This is the bit that, for me, that if I say agitates me, I'm feeling kind of like, you can tell I'm having a bad week, really. So I'm feeling a bit crunchy this week. But it's true, isn't it? It's like our future generations are going to live in the world that I feel that people don't yet want to welcome and are running shy of. And what we are doing every day in our work is kind of helping them to try to get there. So I think we're all doing an amazing job. Well done, all of you.
You know, Alison, what you're saying is they're going to live in the world we're creating.
Yeah,
Us four, the Edgewalkers, we're creating the world that they're going to live in. So bravo.
Yeah, that is so
one
true.
Of the reasons,
No. Sorry, Sharonda.
No, that was one of the reasons I got into Web3. My youngest child is an artist, and all he wants to be is an artist. And I want to be a part of a world where he'll be able to be an artist, but not a starving artist, or an artist that is ridiculed for being different. He'll be able to claim his own art and his own power and what he wants that to look like and what he wants his community to look like. And I want to be a part of creating that world for them. So that's a lot of the reason why I am so committed to being an Edgewalker, is I don't want them to enter a world that's just as the way it is now. I want it to be a better world for them.
So we are definitely, and I imagine everyone in this call does this activity. They are taking risks, they are literally building bridges, and they are breaking new ground. They are doing these three things. Sometimes I want to say we're doing them simultaneously. Sometimes we are on a journey of doing them. Sometimes actually we're building the bridge element of that. Because we see whether it's our friends who need to learn more, whether it's those who we work with that need to, but actually I think this is so important. And I think the more we can help people see this way, it kind of celebrates it, doesn't it? Because when you take risks, people often say risky behavior, risk, it's not good. Like, even as Natasha was saying, like, people go panic, money, like, you've taken risks, you've done all this. Actually, it's also about turning that mindset around, that taking risks is a good thing, because actually we get to the new world that we actually are building by taking risks. If we sit doing what we're doing, we're never going to find the newness, and the newness is what carries us forward as a community and society. And so that feels so precious to me, that's what we keep doing. So amazing everyone. So from building our bridges, we heard from everybody in the room that building bridges, we're doing that. Actually, we did it in our 2 that, but we also talked about how we do between the two. And I just wonder, to sort of view of conversation about this kind of what this is the difference between Web2 and Web3. Any takers?
Alison, you're cutting out. Just so you know, you're cutting out and you're
Oh.
freezing.
Oh, okay. You
Okay.
take over then. I will freeze for a while. So you take over for a while. Hopefully my internet will come back
You're
solid.
better now. You're better now.
Okay.
But I'm gonna hop in and just talk about, you know, what I think is the biggest difference between Web 2 and Web 3, and then I'll hand it off. But you know, a lot of people ask me this too. You know, they'll say, you know, what is the biggest difference? And especially, I'm going to talk about being a woman in Web 3 compared to being a woman in Web 2 and what I have found. So I spent my entire career in sales and marketing, and over 20 years in sales and marketing. And I think how I describe it, if anyone is to ask me what is the difference, is there's no walls in Web 3. And I love saying that because I want you to think about like how it is in Web 2 and in any kind of industry. There are set standards for the way that things are, and very few positions open for women in the top positions of most companies. And so you may have, you know, 10 top positions, 10 C-suite positions, if you want to say, and maybe 2 for women. Is that right? No, but that is reality. So if you have, you know, 5 or 10 women in that corporation that want those top 2 positions that are open for women, there's going to be a lot of competition because you are in a building with walls. There's not a lot of room. There's only so many of you that can get there. And so that breeds competition. Put those same women in Web 3 and take away the walls. Because now we have this open space. We have this, what we're creating, this open metaverse or this open Web 3, however you want to say it. And there's room here. There is room here for everyone. Whatever ideas we have, we can then make those a reality ourselves. We can build ourselves. We can bond together with other women and support each other and collaborate and help each other build and be that ladder for each other to get there. So it's it takes the ceiling and the walls away, and it breeds community. It breeds cooperation, collaboration, working together. And that is the difference. And you see it. You see the women bonding and helping each other and reaching out to each other and wanting to build this new way of life together, you know? So that is the biggest difference that I see. Sharonda, do you want to go?
Sure, I loved your I love that. I do believe that that is the limitlessness of Web3 is one of the things that attracts me to it as well. But one of the major differences between Web2 and Web3 to me is the ability to own our data and our apps and the way that we present ourselves in the digital world. To me, that's powerful because I'm surrounded by so many intelligent and artistic, creative people that their ideas and their art has always been managed, or other people have benefited from it way more than them. So one of the big things that attracts me to Web3 is the ability for them to be directly supported by a community and then rewarded by that community for their efforts without a middleman, even in the middle, taking a piece of the cut for doing so little. So that's one of the most exciting differences between Web 2 and Web 3 to me, is the ability to own our data, to own who we are, to own our interaction on social media. When you're on Instagram and Facebook, you realize at any point that they could shut down and all of your content would belong to them. But this way now, what you post and who you are, you own that. And so it's such an exciting thing for me. What about you, Alison?
Alison, you're on mute. If you don't mind, I will jump in.
Go for it. Yeah. I was going to say, Natasha, you jump in case I'm freezing.
Yeah, Sharonda, 100% agree. And Web3 and Web3 era is our era, when we are actually able to own our data, to understand how we want to use this data, and if we want to share it, we can be compensated for this. So it's not anymore a Web2 big conglomerate, I'm sorry, like Google, Facebook, who owns our data and sell it and make money on us, but we actually can be the one who is owing information and get compensated for it if we want to. And we in Internet Computer, as I said, like our blockchain is has a couple of features that is perfect for Web3. And one of them is that all information inside the blockchain is stored 100% on chain. We don't use Amazon Web Services like Solana, Ethereum, other blockchains. Everything used on chain. We have already dApps that are developed. Like, for example, in Web2, we have WhatsApp, right? And on WhatsApp, come on, forget about these encrypted messages. It's nothing belongs to you. Everything can be read. And we have open chat. It's the same, but it's decentralized 100%. No one will ever access your data or see messages that you are sending. We have Gmail. On Internet Computer, we have Gmail, and this is the same app, even I think with like better features, and you can do decentralized emailing. We have decentralized social media, like, for example, you know, this trend about short videos like TikToks and YouTube Shorts. We have an app that is called Hot or Not. So where actually creators can be compensated for the content that they are doing, because that's a job. I mean, everybody mentioned, we write posts on Facebook, we try to provide knowledge, we try to inspire people, motivate them. This is a job that we do every day, and hundreds of influencers do it around the world. That's our right to be compensated if we are good in it, right? So yeah, I truly bullish on Web3. I think it's gonna change a lot, right? Because we're still in early beginning, but yeah, definitely it will gonna stay with us. I hope this decentralized, beautiful idea that we can be responsible and hold our own data.
What you made me think about, Natasha, I'm just checking. Can you hear me? Am I
Sure.
okay? Yeah. What you made me think about is we need to, I'm sure there must be research on this. How much is one person's value to Facebook or Google? Because in a sense, how you described it is the perfect way to help newbies understand the value of from the move from Web2 to Web3. The actual way that, so for instance, I pay to be a member of LinkedIn, and I pay that, but then LinkedIn grow because I post on it all the time. So they've got more content on there. So I'm actually paying for them to grow. And they grow and benefit, but I'm actually also paying them to do that. But it just made me think, it would be the perfect way to describe it to people. Currently, Facebook or Google, everybody, every company that collects your data monetizes that. They gain from it. I'm going to definitely try to find somewhere, unless you know who's got some data on how much that is. Because if you then shared with people, do you know this company makes this much a year off you, and you could earn that yourself.
So, Alison, this is actually like, you know, a great question that you asked. And when I did my research, I was trying to find some information. We know how much is the market cap of the market size of the cryptocurrencies. We know the size of the stock market, of the tech, of the, I don't know, cars in US. But the market of data, there is no number. And this is for sure $1 trillion market. But it's so much in the shade, split it just between couple of Web2 big companies, that there is no data. But I know that the advertising on Facebook and Instagram grows plus 60% every year, a price per click. 60% per year.
Oh my God. Well, I am going to put out a post that says who knows, or who's done the calculation, because, or even done some kind of bag packet calculation, as we would say in the UK. Anyone who's done anything that actually, because it's so true, isn't it? Like next week, I'm talking to businesses around Web3, Billy, to introduce them to Web3. And they will all say, why do I need to know this? It's not relevant. How does my business going to gain? But I would love to be able to flash up that kind of stuff. Currently, like this is what it is for an individual. So what if, and it comes back to the bit that Sharonda said, her son is an artist wanting to live in that world. And actually people are monetizing his work without him getting it. But the same as some people, especially those with, I would think, lower socioeconomic groups who write really great content or do lots of great things, and other people are hugely gaining from it. And these people are like not getting any of those returns. And that's what we need to shift, isn't it? That's why I came into Web3, because I genuinely believe the economics of the world could change, because you can actually, you don't have to have that Oxford degree or any university degree. And that doesn't mean I'm dishing degrees, but it's said, actually, some people might not have got there for, it might have been finance reasons, it might have been for a whole complication of reasons they didn't do that. But they can still earn thousands, billion, like all of that. And they have the same opportunities because of the new Web3, because their skills allow them to monetize themselves rather than they have to go work for a decentralized, like a centralized company that then makes money off them. Sorry, again, it's like so many different bits I'm feeling in my head.
You know, it kind of, it brings us to that word that you and I had talked about, you know, that's going around called SoFi, right? What is SoFi? It's social finance. It is monetizing your content. And that is becoming a big word in Web3, and that is because people know what's about to happen, right? People see the independence and the way that things are shifting. So companies like Twitter, Meta, are thinking, okay, before we lose them to their own platforms or to different platforms, how do we keep them and keep the content on our platform? Let's pay them. So we are going to start paying people for their content, which is SoFi.
Oh,
and
wow.
I think it also speaks to another big difference between Web 2 and Web 3 is the transparency, right? As you said, we all know exactly how much every blockchain is earning. Like we can just go to Etherscan and see how much wallets are transferring between each other. And so that's another really good benefit of Web3 is that it takes away some of that it lets us see exactly what's going on. So we don't have to wonder or guess. And so that's another one great thing that I love about Web3 is the transparency of it all.
That is really, no, that is so important, isn't it? And Natasha, I mean, you must do lots on that around the blockchain and delivering on the blockchain all the time and helping people understand the transparency. Because I think that's sometimes quite hard to get people to understand the transparency of blockchain. Any tips for how we can do that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, imagine, Alison, I give you $5 and Tommy had to prove that I already gave you $5. If we are in Web 2, I'm just gonna say, Tommy, I gave to Alison $5. Who will gonna verify, did I actually give you money or not? But if I send you $5 through the blockchain, Tommy, Sharonda, everyone who is listening us today can go on the blockchain and check that I actually gave you those $5. So this is the big difference, and it works for everything.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because if you think that all the way through, I even heard recently, I was in a discussion where you could say, if governments can see transactions as well, If all transactions take place on the blockchain in the future, and governments therefore also have the right to look and they can see, there's no more hidden accounts, there's no more movement of money. So states could collect the right taxation from people for the monies that they had. So people couldn't get around all of those issues. And actually, so states could get more money in, they could actually service the people better as well. For me, it feels so good in so many different ways. Like the bit that the individual one-on-one, there's that record, but there's also, if you take it at a much larger scale, nationally and even internationally, it's so important.
I mean, think about the power that would give a community to be able to see where the government is sending the money. Like that transparency. But on that note, I do have to go. I'm going to have to leave early. This has been the best conversation. I absolutely love being with you, brilliant women. I cannot wait till next month. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and I will see you next month.
Thank you, Tammy. I will see you in 10 minutes. So thank you. So we've got like that whole concept of owning our own data. So we, if anyone here knows of how to collect information on how much it's monetized, our individual data, please do like share with us, but I'm going to put a LinkedIn post out and a Twitter to see what we can get, because I just think that's what we need to be asking people, isn't it? And that's what I'm going to keep saying. And I think, as you said, Natasha, it's like, I want to say it's the simplicity of it, isn't it? We need to get people to understand this is such a simple way to actually get rid of disputes, because if you owe me this money, the blockchain will tell me that you paid me it, and therefore I can't come and charge you or claim you didn't pay me. So it can even reduce the level of disputes that take place in terms of payment or payment of debt, all of that. It's amazing, isn't it? And I definitely think next time you should share some of your dApps with us, because they like just sound so exciting, some of them, about what they are and what they're doing. And I'm definitely never writing anything on WhatsApp again. I do like to get cocooned in, oh, it's safe, it's fine, it's encrypted. Never again, Natasha, never.
Sure, I'm gonna share some links on our latest dApps.
That would be really brilliant. And one of the sessions we can look at that. But I mean, what we've been talking about, that difference, it really does lead to the other big difference for me. And if I talk about it from a business sense, often people as customers, even the health service, they engage with people as customers, really. I mean, in the States, in the UK, they might say not so much because they don't individually pay for it in the way that they do in other countries. But actually, there's that real shift, isn't there, from customer to community. And the concept that whether you're a brand, whether you're a public sector, servicing people, you need to start thinking of people more as your community and less about your customers. Well, what do you think about that, or any thoughts?
To me, that was one of the ways I fell down the rabbit hole, was linking with the community. Actually, that's how you and I met, Alison. And to me, that is so fascinating, because now community isn't just limited to your neighborhood or to your coworkers. Now your community it can be anyone in the world that shares your same interests and beliefs and is willing to unite with you and form community with you. And one thing I've noticed, a lot of the major brands now in their brands and ads are starting to use that word. So it is happening. Web3 is starting to have an impact on other brands. But to me, that's one of the best parts, the way that you can link with people from different time zones, and just, it's so global, and it allows us to learn more about each other. I think that the more we learn about each other, the better the world will be. So for me, the way that you can form community through Web3 is one of the best parts about it to me.
That's really amazing. And you're right, that is exactly, I mean, we live in different parts of the world, and we literally connected over Tuttle Tribe NFT, or me hearing you push that out and going, oh, I really wish I lived in Miami. I really wish I was there. And can I come to your gang? Really, that I think is what I said. Can I come, even though I don't live there? And you were like, absolutely. And like, that's phenomenal, isn't it?
Through Discord, through Telegram. Speaking of Web3, the Web3 equity community is so strong here in Miami, and it keeps growing. The network of women that join, and each woman empowers the next. So those little small sects of people that are united and committed can make a difference. And it doesn't have to be 1 million people like on Instagram or Facebook, where you need all these followers, but those followers really aren't your community. Now we share the same goals, we share the same ideas, we're all working towards making this happen. To me, that is how change is really made.
And Natasha, who is a woman who goes around the world, lives in many different countries. I mean, what's your reflections?
Oh, I mean, I think partially probably we all in this world because of the community. And we are all girls, and we choose today, I mean, to come here to this live and to speak about the technology. I don't want to talk what is the perfect length of the skirt, or which mascara I should use, or what is the brisket perfect recipe. I want to speak about technology. I want to speak about the future, like Sharonda said, the future that we are building for our kids. I want to think about these things. So yeah, I mean, wherever you go, and I've seen crypto communities in the different countries. I attended big conferences. The one was the latest one in Singapore, Token 2049. And the people that you see, the best thing about them is that, as you said, girls, they are share the same values, the same interests. They are open. They are not going to say, oh, girl, you're crazy, because they're the same crazy as you. They are the same Edgewalker. And then you can just be open. I mean, the best after parties I did were with the crypto enthusiasts, was with the Web3 people. Yeah, so completely 100% agree with you, ladies.
Yeah, I literally do wish that I'd met you several years ago, Natasha, and I went to those crypto parties with you. But it is so true. I think for me, it's, as we said earlier, we've been united across the globe. We're from 4 very different places. Our engagement connection is through this, and it just grows stronger and stronger each time. I think this time we've done loads about Web3, but one of the things I think I'd love to do a bit more next time when we meet is to actually do a bit more of the tech. And I'm going to look at Natasha in that, in terms of, because I think that would be, if looking at each of the tech bits and saying, how do we bring this alive for non-tech people? Because that's the bit about, maybe it's the concept of mass adoption or increased adoption. We're only going to get that the more people we can bring on. And the only way we'll do that is if we help everybody understand what is the tech. And as a woman who has never done tech in my life, actually it would have scared the heck out of me. And what I want to do now is to kind of utilize someone like yourself, Natasha, who can really help me constantly help other women how to understand the tech and without being scared, and how they can be engaged, and how actually also you don't have to be tech, not your tech, but the 3 of us aren't really tech to be in this world. And we have a space and a home in this new Web3 evolving world. And that's how we need to help everyone else to see it. But I would love to focus on a bit more of that next time, if you're up for that.
Sure, we can do that.
Yeah, that would be really brilliant. Okay, so, It's like 5 to, I'm going to say it's 5 to 4, but it's 5 to midnight for you, I think. Is it true, Natasha? So
Yes.
so thank you so much for joining us, given the hour for yourself. Very much appreciate it. And Sharonda, thank you for being with us as always from the States. And to Ben, thank you for keep jivying us along, making sure we get here, we have the support we need to make it happen. Really do appreciate that. And to Peggy and to Info Aurora Coaching who have joined us today. Yeah, I mean, really, really lovely to have you here. If you ever want to share a thought, please do that. But on that note, I think I'm going to round it out for the afternoon, if that's okay. Yeah.
Thank
That's
you,
fine with
everyone.
me. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Oh, have a really lovely, whatever day, Wednesday. Have a lovely Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday sleep. And we look forward to our next gathering in a month, and we'll do a bit of techie and how do we adopt the math, bring the masses on.
All
Take
right.
care, everyone.
Okay.
Bye.
See you soon.